This is some of the water surrounding Alona Beach. And coming into view right now is Alona Beach. But let's head on down and talk about this. Now, before you go watching too many videos about Panglao and Bohol and become overwhelmed with your newly stricken place envy, travel envy, I watched many videos before coming here trying to understand the place. And it was only once I got here that I realized how much of that is carefully manicured, social media friendly shots. And that once you get here, the experience can end up being a very different story. Now, Alona Beach is definitely for some people. If you have a limited amount of vacation time, it's just so easy getting into the Panglao airport, so it just makes all the sense in the world. This video is for the kinds of people that when they get here, they actually say to themselves, I am shocked. It is not what I expected. And within a short period of time are maybe looking for an alternative twist to their narrative. And I mean, there is absolute beauty here, make no mistake. We're gonna tour around Panglao Island, which is part of Bohol province, but is not actual, the big island is Bohol. As you can see, the beach itself is very walkable, and even in high tides there's all these little stairways, seawall, and the white sand walkway that's, though manufactured, it is still very nice to walk. It can get pretty crowded, it's a pretty narrow walk, and there's lots of people here. It's a very touristy place. The avenue that comes in and out of the beach itself, and there is only one, it's right up there, it is very walkable. It is lined with restaurants and bars and little areas where it like tucks back in alleyways to a group of restaurants and bars. Other than that avenue, it's walkability. This beach and the upper sandy sidewalk walkability. Alona Beach area out on the main road, I would rate its walkability somewhere in the red zone, the danger zone. There are no sidewalks, so all of that pedestrian traffic is forced to walk in the roadway, which has a lot of the tour vans flying around, people riding too fast on motorbikes, and of course, there's, you know, going to be around the clock alcohol consumption. So these are just considerations if you're bringing little kids or the helpless and innocent, expecting that it's going to be this, that it's going to be what you're seeing on social media. There's some of the flavor. But if you do decide you want some time in the lap of luxury, Dauis at the Henan here at the end, 1,500 to 1,600 and a half pesos. And kids, you'll pay for the kids too. And those of you looking for the longer term living solution, at least longer than a normal tourist stay, but potentially even living options, and you're getting an earful about Panglao, Alona Beach, Bohol, and most of the narratives are centered around this area, I would tell you, come spend some time and look around before you make any commitments from afar. Even if what you're seeing on camera right now is like, oh my God, that's perfect. Understand, this is niche. Now this is so new, it's only been open for like a month. They're not even done building. It is 5:30 right now, they're just getting everything fired up. I've been here a handful of times already, and they play great music. The food is fantastic, the prices, can't argue with them for Panglao. Lots of choices, to include like smoothies and Korean, Filipino, barbecue. Come on out and enjoy this. Right now it stays open till 11, 12 o'clock at night based on how much crowds and demand they have. Once people start learning about it more, they'll stay open even later. It is the Tawala Food Market, Night Food Market. And we're at the very, very end of Airport Road as it turns towards Alona Beach. The myth of secret beaches on Panglao Island is pretty much just that, mythology. It's not a big enough island for there to be undiscovered spaces, and it's populated enough, first of all, with locals, but also the resort buildup that has happened and is ongoing. You're just not going to find it. So most of the beaches that normal travelers are looking for, photo perfect white sand beaches, resorts already kind of control the access to them, and you will pay to park, pay to enter, pay to sit and relax, take it all in, pay to eat. So right here where I am at is the Danao Sunset Viewpoint. There are very few people out here. There is some debris, the turnoff kind of in the corner. If you blink, you'll miss it. And that's a good thing, that it's not the easiest thing in the world to find. It's quiet enough out here. All you can hear is like the boats moving across the water, the birds and the animals in the jungle. Chasing paradise is a complicated thing. There's never any perfect formula. There's no perfectly clean, manicured beaches without tons of people, and you can't find a private place that's perfectly taken care of. You're gonna pass through what's essentially like a boatyard. The road goes through these kind of open palms. On the map, I think it calls it a palm plantation. Rather than recycle the same tired tropes of a couple goes and stays in Alona for 3 days, jumps on a tour bus to go to the chocolate hills in Tarsiers, and it changed our life. It wasn't what I expected. It shocked me. I'm gonna show you maybe some of the more local beaches, because there are so many apartment options, long stay options around Panglao Island. You are inevitably gonna be chasing these places down where it's much, much cheaper to hang out there. It's kind of a blessing in disguise for the journeyers, the adventurers, the searchers, the travelers, not just the tourists who see what they came to see and took a good picture of it. When you find less of the foreigners in a place and more of the locals in a place, that's your signal that it's where you can regularly go to enjoy and relax and not have to pay a ton of money out of pocket for the manufactured experience. We are in Panglao Town, actual. Got the cathedral, the St. Augustine, the old watchtower. Looks like we got a little bit of repair going on, and the water is right there. Hi, mayong hapon. This is a pretty cool plaza. They got the basketball court going on. They got tennis courts going on. I have seen people out here playing, lights on and everything, till late at night. But it's like totally local, and you're not even that far from the white sand beaches. And it's great because you're, even from here, you're walking distance to the central market, the public market. Got a few 24-hour food, like burger things, Dunkin', 7-Eleven here. This is one of the first plazas I've seen that's not like paved over all the way. I'm not saying good or bad, just used by the locals for sure. Now, right down here is the tourist pier. This is the tourist office. And they were gracious enough to give me some answers. This office is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The boats that leave from right here, taking a boat, they have one accredited by the tourism department, one boatman, and you can make your reservations with them. Most of the boats leave at 6 a.m. to catch the dolphin movements. If that's too early for you or you don't care, then 8 to 9 a.m. are the last ones. Through them, your reservation, 2,500 pesos on a private boat. These are mostly fishing boats. I would not want to take one of these out to Balicasag. If you don't do snorkeling, it's 100 pesos per head to be in vicinity of Balicasag. That's an environmental fee. If you get in the water and do snorkeling activities, that is 300 pesos per head. That includes the fish sanctuary, turtle watching, a guide, and paddle boat. So you must go in a faster boat and then like non-motorized to go approach proximity of, because it's I think it's a protected area. Snorkeling gear rentals for a mask and a breather, 150 pesos per set. The snorkeling shoes and flippers, 150 pesos. So here's where we're at. You cannot see the island from here. Oh yeah, you can. You can just barely see Balicasag out there. So here at the Moadto, even though you're flanked on both sides by resorts, this might be a better sunset option because it's developed. You've got lots of white sand beach, but there's also, I mean, you got restaurants here. It's getting my vote for the better because it's just cleaner, it's more pleasing to the eye in every way. You can pull right up, walk through the mall. It's kind of horseshoe-shaped arena type mall. And then there's just this nice, easy beach access situation. There's people out here swimming. And on a night like tonight, where the clouds were blocking the sun itself, but it was just fire in the sky back here, which you cannot see from the Hermit Beach. So sometimes that angle where it's offset can play to your advantage. Guard was telling me it's open till 10 o'clock at night. I stepped inside the chocolate chamber because I would be crazy not to. They don't do full meals, but you're looking at, you know, sit down chocolate. They had me sample these. 75% cacao, dark chocolate. There's a spicy, like a chili pepper spicy chocolate. Oh, that's crazy. And then they have, mixed with the dark chocolate, Rice Krispie treats or popcorn or sesame seed, or my favorite of them, they called them cacao nips. So it's like pieces, it's almost like when you eat a chocolate covered espresso bean, the bean itself. So it's the cacao bean in the dark chocolate. Oh man, you gotta come try this. And then there's white chocolate with the cacao nips also. As I got so excited when I saw the Asin Tibuok. That.
It's the salted caramel hot chocolate. Artisanal salt, the Asin Tibuok, sir. Please enjoy.
This is the salted caramel hot chocolate, if you did not catch that. But you can buy from them a single serving takeaway to brew at home. Oh man. That absolutely delivers. I almost think the perfect pairing would be this cup of salted caramel hot chocolate with some of the candy pieces. That spicy dark chocolate is wicked good. So do yourself a favor, come by the Moadto just to do this chocolate chamber, all right? Now, I had all but given up on pizza in Southeast Asia. There are several of these around Tagbilaran and Panglao Island. I've looked at the menu and stepped inside, but never actually eaten it. It's a spicy mango pizza, at least the look. So the mango that they put on the pizza has this seared, candied quality to it. And they put a honey mango hot sauce very, very lightly on there. So that's one thing. But then it's a honey chili sauce, a honey hot sauce. So what you're definitely gonna wanna do is load up on some of this, my friend. Oh, look at how thick that is, huh? Don't be afraid. Don't fear the hot sauce. That is delicious. And they did a good job on the dough too. It's kind of like this undiscovered area. There are a couple resorts, but I don't think they're all that busy. If you even feel like you need to get out of the intensity of that, absolutely come over here. Now, I have no doubt, looking at that menu, there's a lot of organic. They've got seafood, salads, pastas, and pizzas. I easily saw half a dozen things that I wanted to try. This pizza is gonna run me 490 pesos, but This is probably the best pizza I've had in Southeast Asia, so consider that. So I'm gonna break from the narrative just a little bit. We're getting close to the tip where Bohol Beach and Moadto is. Set your waypoint for the North Zen Villas. So we've got a very nice lounge here. It is a hotel resort. I know I said I wouldn't do it, but there is a perfect collision of circumstances making everything very quiet on the island right now. So it's a really good time to film and show you this. You get to take this mangrove walk. It's low tide right now. So anytime you're in a mangrove forest during low tide, it's not the most attractive thing to the eye, but as the high tide comes, it is like spectacular photography, and it's kind of like being in this dreamlike world. It is one of the many contributors to this being a geopark, a UNESCO geopark. Lovebirds. Oh my god. So we're in like it's netted. Oh, they are going after it. Can you see this? These are beautiful, brightly colored birds. So you can do this on your long walk out to, it's almost tickling my hands the way their claws, see, up close. Look at this. It's worth coming out here just for that. That was super cool. It's kind of later in the day, so it's not the brightest inside there, but the colors on those lovebirds are, that just made this whole thing worth it. But check this out. Oh my gosh, what a great thing. It cost 380 pesos entry for this mangrove walk made of bamboo. The good thing about this is, so normally these mangrove walks are made of concrete, so like visual texture and everything has this sort of like sterile industrial feel to it, and a lot of times they amount to pay for entry for a little more than taking good selfies. In this case, it's a completely different scenario. 100 pesos of those 380 are consumable, so they go toward your total bill of food and drink. So we got this little refreshment and eating establishment out here on the water. Serenity, please, it says. Look at this. Now, if that doesn't get your appetite going, I don't know what will. And here we are out at the very end. This is the entryway. And this place is very calm and peaceful and quiet, which you can't always say about resorts on this island. This place is totally cool. There are foreigners here, but end of the road past Panglao, past the Moadto little mall thing, has these giant wood gates. You'll know. You get to the end of the road. Maybe a little more of a rustic setting for the sunset. This gate closes at 10 o'clock p.m. and you don't have to pay, but you do have to sign into the book with the security guard. So, you know, there's other activity out here. There's white sand and there is a lot of space to kind of find your own spot. So you got more, see, not bad. Out on the point. I don't even know if we're high tide or low tide right now. Oh, we got people out in the water. Nice. White-ish sand beach section that's, you know, good photo ops, then rocky points. Once you park your bike at the gate and sign in with the security guard, it's maybe a 10-minute walk down road like this. Flat. Just, you know, it's been raining a little bit lately, so. And this is Libaong Beach. sandy on the approach. Got some good, just shallow bathing waters. There's tons of kids out here in the water. This is like, this might be one of the best balance beaches I've seen. We got plenty of motorcycle parking under a donation box honor system. And it's a Friday afternoon, not crowded at all. Down the walk path, probably smaller boutique resorts, and I bet again you could find more apartments, condos. Yeah, that's barred off as private. But just, I mean, get a load of this. I'll walk back the other way. There's your approach in. Some of the fancy beaches have like security guards that'll charge you to come in, but there's no admission requirement here. Libaong. It's making more sense to me why so many of the Western foreigners are hanging out at that central point in Dao. You have very convenient and easy access to stuff like this. You can walk through, and each establishment down the line is food, partying, tables for rent. Seems like the going rate anywhere on the island is 500 pesos for a day for like a table hut booth thing. Let's get a little closer to the water color. On Bohol and Panglao, the distances you travel to get to different things, they can be pretty far distances. And some of the time I think, man, it would just make so much more sense to live as close to Tagbilaran as possible. The resources, the city resources, to include pharmacy, hospital, malls. But then again, you know, lately it's been those moments where you go, it's just too noisy in the city. I would want to be out on the beaches and everything. And so this is starting to make more sense also. I do know for sure, I just wouldn't even consider trying to live even within walking distance of Alona. It's just so touristy. But that's just a thought for the longer stay people. So even on the road, the approach into Libaong, there are several complexes being built of pretty significant size, and the locals were agreeing like, oh my gosh, there's just so much development on this island. The more time that goes by, the more attractive, the more people, it changes the character. Some of that is good. It's really beneficial to the people coming here wanting to stay a long time, because then you got this really sophisticated and becoming ever more sophisticated soft landing for you with like nice condos, because I like all the things, and it would be so nice to find something where it's all just within walking distance, and that's absolutely not going to be a possibility here. We are now on Dumaluan Beach. This is the BBC, the Bohol Beach Club. It is the OG of Panglao and Bohol resort experiences since 1984. So you'll see this a lot on different videos. Renting for the day will cost you 1,200 pesos as a guest to occupy the beds, to sit there for the day. If you are staying in Alona, getting a trike ride to or from 200 pesos is what that will run you. This Dumaluan Beach, I am immediately noticing it is so much quieter than the purely local beaches that have like uncontrolled entry, but with rental places to sit and drink or eat. And anyway, you know, there's people karaokeing, loud music. But then by contrast on Alona Beach, it's just like everybody's packed into this small space. And even when you're sitting out on the beach, which is where you want to be to eat your fancy seafood meal or whatever, like the line of people going up and down that sand path, they're basically like staring down at you walking by. Everybody's staring, you know, like checking out, oh, what's on his plate? Oh, who's he with? Blah, blah. It's kind of a surreal fish tank experience, but it's totally for some people, so I cannot begrudge anybody. Now we're approaching the Mary Lou Resort. And it's, you know, if you're coming in from the outside, the Mary Lou is easiest access point to spend the day. We have the kind of buoy roped off, controlled. I mean, it is like super relaxing here. This might be the most impressive, sort of all things considered, because there is no perfect scenario. Anybody that's like, oh, it's a secret beach, that's total BS. There's no secret beaches on Panglao. That's a whole different conversation about Bohol Island actual, and we'll get into that in another video. But here at the Mary Lou, there's like a lot above it where you can pay 30 pesos to park your motorbike. Entry in is 50 pesos. And then it's like super spaced out here. You can rent the huts, the covered huts for the day. And they've got a restaurant. We're technically at Dumaluan Beach Resort, and those are 1,500 pesos to rent for the day. And so you can walk right up and do it. But that's a controlled entry point at DBR for guests only. The Mary Lou is the only entry point that I know of on Dumaluan. Any outsiders can come in, you just have to pay for it. This is the restaurant, this is the Mary Lou. And even here it's wonderful because they're not like corralling the traffic right through the table area. This is a good spot. And over at the lifeguard stand, the guitars are strumming. Oh man. Now, if there was a capture of the vibe of this beach, what it feels like to me, that's it right there, buddy. And you can walk and walk and walk. That is the great thing. Once you gain entry to the beach, you are free to roam. So that's your second entry point into the Mary Lou on Dumaluan. They'll give you one of these. 50 pesos to rent one of the plastic sand beds, but just to give you some idea dimensionally how much more space. And it's putting a smile on my face how calm and quiet and relaxing Dumaluan feels. It gets really, really quiet. 100, 200 meters that way. You can hear the sound of even just these tiny little waves. This is the old watchtower, the Dauis watchtower. Not allowed to go in it, it's closed off. But this is one of several around Bohol that were about watching and defending Moro pirate raids back in the day. You know, is the structure stable enough to support us going in there? I have no idea. But check it out. This is the Dauis Cathedral. It is reportedly the oldest standing cathedral on the Bohol province. Why don't we go take a look inside? It looks like that might be the old convent building. This is very old wood furniture. It's not in the best of shape, some of it. There's not a ton of sunlight, but the old stone flooring, the painting,
What?
it's covering the whole ceiling. Even these benches look super old. You can hear the birds chirping, hanging out up in the ceiling space. If you don't think that Western culture and American pop culture doesn't make its way over here, I asked them, what is the difference between simbahan and cathedral? And the answer is
6-7.
6-7? That's so the church bells just started ringing like military training almost. All these boys just like went running because the front door is opened as the church is inviting everybody in. Here's the front. These grounds, the whole area looks like a pretty nice place to actually relax. You're right out on the water. Now the cadre, the staff, is letting me know the parish dates back to the 1690s. This is the 5th construction of the building, and this was finished in the 1920s. There is actually a water spring here. Oh my gosh. Oh.
And up to present, sir, it's still potable.
It's still drinkable.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
It is believed to exist before the construction of this church. So during some raids from the past, people seek refuge here and they drink water here just to survive.
And he was saying if you couldn't hear that this was a refuge they would seek during raids, like Moro pirate raids and stuff. And that when they would seek shelter here, they would drink that water. Barbecue. Now the other night I was walking around and I stopped in here to have some chop suey vegetables. It was a proper serving of vegetables for like 300 pesos. It was very good. Right across from 7-Eleven. If you want to usher in the final moments of daylight, settle into the twilight, we're on the Dauis side of the Causeway. This is called Causeway Foodhub. Normally this opens at 5 o'clock in the evening, stays open till midnight. We've got like a brewery bar thing going on one side, several restaurant pods to show you all the seating that is here. This place is super cool. Coffee shop, so you can keep your eye on Tagbilaran. So we're at Hinagdanan Cave. The good news, this covered waiting area, if you have mobility issues, you're a little older, you don't want to be there, or you go inside and separate from your group to come back out, you've got that there. And that's important that it's covered because, oh man, we got some storm cells developing. So if you're a DIY traveler, adventurer, that's the stairway down into the cave. You've got all of your tourist haunts out here on the runway in. We got the t-shirts, the bags, the tie-dye, coconuts, buko. For reference, the buko is 80 pesos at that stand there. At least that's what he said to me at first. If you're coming in your own vehicle, 2-wheel, 3-wheel, 4-wheel, and not in a tour van you paid for ahead of time, there's like a few different spots to park. Entry fee is 50 pesos at that stand right here. You don't have to pay for a guide. We got a free parking area out here and you're rowed in. It's a little sporty. If you wish to swim inside the cave, optional, not required, that's an additional 75 pesos for a total of 125 pesos if you're gonna do the full experience. Cave opens at 8 o'clock. Swimming hours are from 8:30 to 4:30, and then the cave closes at 5 o'clock. Oh, look down there. Maybe you can see major jellyfish action. We got some major drilling going on right there. We're at Napaling Reef. I'm Bing. So here's the deal. At Napaling Reef, you're not the first person to think of this. You're not the first person to be here. You can get access down the cliff stairways on the resorts on either side. On this side, entry is 100 pesos, and on this side, entry is 200 pesos. You do not have to have your own gear. Don't even bother bringing your own gear. A life vest, should you choose it, is 150. Long fins, which I always recommend, 250 pesos. Goggles, 150. Then extras for, photo, video services. So you have to pay a 50 peso environmental fee. These jellyfish, oh, you can't see them, but they're small, but it's like this whole line of them. So we're buoyed off. Having a guide is included with that 100 or 200 peso entry fee. which is good because if you're a solo traveler like me, you want to do some free diving, you like that better, you can't afford scuba. There's your nice, smooth entry point, the Napaling. I mean, a huge percentage of Panglao Island is a very treacherous coastline like you're seeing here. Very, very little of it is usable beach for leisure. And I've even done reconnaissance on like the different access points, stairways and ramps that go down, and most of those are by design, and the whole, it's for the local fishermen really. There's very little of Panglao Island that is where you would just go hang out. It's the end of the road here. There's signs out on the main intersection. Access opens at 6 a.m., closes at 2:30 p.m. It says tourism office, but it's like a tour office, or it's tourist information. So they have all the tour packages that can take you all over Panglao, all over Bohol. For here, okay, so this is actually your parking area for your car, motorbike. Now, say for example, if you are as comfortable free diving but alone like me, the full package they're offering with guide and everything is like 2,000 pesos. If you're not comfortable at all and you want the intro course, a 1 day is 10,000. That includes everything. And a 2-day course is 20,000. Access to the Grand Crack. It makes it look like it's down that way on the map. They said just disregard that. Anytime you're going into Napaling Reef, you are gonna get access to the Grand Crack there. It's not a huge space. You know, if you're trying to be all crafty, I'm gonna find my own access, does not exist. So here, Napaling, gotta play by the rules, all right? And to the best of my knowledge, only one place on Panglao Island where you can just ride up, gear up, wade out into the water and free dive, snorkel. I'm saying this from a place of love and a place of experience. I do not advise ever going out there by yourself. I am not going to say the name of this place out loud. The name of the YouTuber, she is a Boholana, where I found this tip. So if you really want to know this, you can go through her videos, that she gets the credit she deserves for this wonderful treasure. Respect the keeping it a little bit quiet. You can just literally drive up and walk out. You're gonna wanna have like one of those buoys that float on the surface to tell all the boaters, oh, there's a human down below, be careful. So this might be the most challenging part of your approach in and departure out of Libaong Beach, which is a very local, I mean, there's tons of foreigners on Panglao Island and I'm still getting the looks, the stares. So you got a lot of resources here. You have the shacks, the huts that you can rent with your group of people, your family. You can rent equipment. You have refreshments on down the line. They've got like the garbage thing to keep it clean. There are more places you can rent to hang out. And here's what the texture of your shoreline looks like. It's low tide right now, so this is a really good, it's a good way to visualize the composition of what you have to work with. So there's like little tide pools where you can see the folks playing. Got kind of the, almost like old reef, remainder of reef, some soft white sand, but I think you get the idea. Very, very comfortable family space. It's a whole area with more of those booths for rent, yeah? Family. Today's a Saturday, so like every booth is taken. And on the front, where it's like fence gate controlled, you have the contact information should you choose to rent one of those out. Too easy. We are directionally, this is heading sort of southwest, I think, south-ish towards Alona Beach. Behind all of these little places where you can rent, you can take your motorbike, and I'm gonna get on the bike right now. It's a totally different beach setup. There's some serious karaoke going on here. And that is one consideration. If you step away from the tourist beaches, foreigner popular, and go to these more local, there's always karaoke going on. So as long as that doesn't bother you, as long as it puts a smile on your face, puts a smile on my face, most of the time. We're all the way at the other end. you know, and you can trample around on the cliffside. You got a little bit of the white sand, same thing, more cliff texture to play with, stairways up and down. These booths, quotes I'm getting are 500 pesos to rent them for a day. This beach at least, 30 pesos entry, which includes parking your vehicle in, you know, and it's a maintenance fee for the space. They did have a sign for sunset cruises, including beverages, for 3,500 pesos per person. Now just another angle on it. These are what those shacks look like. So now we are on Momo Beach. The epicenter of all the activity is Beth's Sari-Sari store. They got adult beverages, refreshment beverages. You can rent any one of these, kind of like these fine gentlemen are using right now, the cottages, for 500 pesos a day. Business opens up at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, goes until 5 o'clock in the evening, at which point these close down as a business thing. However, you can be out on the beach until the evening. From here, they take boats out to Oslob, which is on Cebu Island, to spot the whale sharks. The boat that goes out, it's the big boat right here that's like gray and white, kind of looks faster. We got a fishing boat and then the Oslob boat. These benches, bamboo. This is pretty comfortable actually, surprisingly. It doesn't look like it would be that comfortable. These are in really good shape here on Momo. Looks like you could do okay in inclement weather. They're taking pretty good care of these and replacing the fronds. So the boats to Oslob, 3,000 pesos for that. 6:30 in the morning departure, comes back at like 11:30. That does not include a meal on board. They do have restrooms, CR, on the boat, but that does include your snorkeling mask, breather tube, and fins. Now hopefully that helps you in any kind of decision making. This might be one of your best options, if not the best option, if you are looking for something more local to watch the sunset from, which is happening over the next 30-45 minutes. You know, it's just different every night here with the cloud cover and everything else, but some nights you'd think it's not going to be a good sunset and that it's just fire in the sky, and then other nights you think, oh my god, it's going to be beautiful, and it's like nothing. So it's a mix of, you know, the white sand here and then sort of that rocky dead reef thing going on. We're still low tide right now, but just to give you an idea. Oh, there are the approach in here on the road. It is like, oh, it's so bumpy and rocky. But your lesser of two evils is the approach through Look, which is the road that's closest to Panglao Town actual, if that makes any sense at all. The phenomenology of Panglao, and this is just such a different experience than what you're going to be doing down in Alona. And I have seen enough people cruising around the island desperately looking for alternative beach access without all those crowds. So I figured I would just show, like, oh, you know, if people in the world care, here's where they are and here's what these things look like. I am going to enjoy the sunset and stop talking with you. Thanks for following me around Panglao Island for this latest iteration of a whole series about Bohol, Panglao, the island life here in the Visayas. Hopefully you found my visuals, my narrative to be somewhat helpful for you, and just another piece of information to take in as you're making your decisions about how to explore this big crazy world.